Can you really add 11 years to your life by walking more? According to some groundbreaking research, the answer is yes, but there's a catch. In this video, I'm going to talk about what that catch is and how you can walk more to live longer. Hi, I'm Dave. It's important for you to know that I'm not a doctor. I'm not a licensed personal trainer, simply a guy who loves walking. Since 2013, I've averaged about 19,000 steps a day, not because I have to, but because I want to. And for the past 3 years, I've done a daily podcast, Walking is Fitness. Every day there's a brand new 10-minute episode to encourage you to walk more and sit less. And to make it more fun, I'm not in a studio saying you should get out and take that walk. No, every episode is recorded while I'm out walking. So essentially, we're taking a walk together. And let's do that right now and talk about this research that indicates you could actually add 11 years to your life by walking more. And so that I don't mess up any of the facts and figures, I actually have some notes that I'm going to look at. So if I am not making eye contact with you the entire time we're walking, that's why. This research was published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine in November of 2024. And they looked at the activity level of all those who participated in the study. And so they could compare apples to apples. They converted the activity, all the different forms of activity, into the equivalent of walking minutes, in walking minutes. And then they took the group of those who were participating in this research and they divided them up into 4 groups, from least active to most active. And here's how that broke down, again, in terms of walking minutes. So the least active group walked about 50 minutes a day. Group 2 walked about 80 minutes a day. Group 3, 110 minutes a day. And the most active group, 160 minutes a day. And I'm not going to bury the headline. Here's the research that grabbed those headlines, that you can live 11 more years if you walk more. Those who were in the least active group, 50 minutes a day, who jumped up to the most active group, 160 minutes a day, potentially added 11 years to their lifespan. Now, I've shared this research with others, and one of the reactions that I get is, okay, those are just extra years. Almost to the point of, who cares? Well, I think most people care, but I understand the motivation behind that question. Because who wants to live 11 more years and be sick and in bad health for 11 extra years? I mean, nobody really wants that. The reality is we don't die in a vacuum, unless of course you're in space. We die from stuff. And movement, walking, according to all kinds of research, not just this study, movement lowers the risk of all that stuff. Heart disease, certain types of cancers, type 2 diabetes, dementia. It even lowers the risk of accidental death, deaths that are the result of a fall. Because when you're moving more, when you're walking more, you're stronger, better balance. That lowers the risk of an accidental fall. So it lowers the risk of death from accidents. So it's not just about extending lifespan. It's also about extending health span, giving you quality years, not just quantity years. But there's a catch. I mean, that's a pretty provocative headline. You can add up to 11 years to your life by walking more. Provocative headline, but there's a catch. And I'll get to that. And how you can walk more and add potentially years to your life and also quality to those years. One of the questions that I get asked from time to time is, hey Dave, what shoes do you wear? Right now as I'm walking, I'm wearing the Fitville Rebound Neos. Now, I've been walking as a fitness activity since 2013, and I can say without hesitation, these are the best walking shoes that I've used since I made walking my regular foundational fitness activity. These are quality shoes, they're sturdy shoes. But one of the things about Fitville that I was actually a little leery about on the front end, all of Fitville shoes come with a wider toe box. Now, I don't have wide feet. I've never bought extra wide shoes. And I was a little skeptical, could this really make a difference? And I put them on and started walking with them, and oh my, tremendous difference. My feet are comfortable, they feel sturdy, they feel stable, particularly when I'm walking on uneven surfaces, as I am now. And Fitville makes shoes specifically designed for walking, as well as running, tennis, golf, hiking. They even have specialty shoes for certain medical conditions. And if you check out the link in this video description, you're going to be, I think, pleasantly shocked by the prices of these shoes. But wait, there's more. Fitville is offering you 28% off. If you use the link in the video description and the code WF28, they'll give you 28% off your purchase. It's a pretty great deal. All right, so let's talk about the catch and what you can do to walk more and add potentially more years to your life, but even, I think more importantly, quality years, healthy years to your life. So the research that pegs this an extra 11 years is based on those going from the least active group, 50 minutes of walking a day, to the most active group, 160 minutes of walking a day. That's an extra 110 minutes of walking every day, almost 2 hours. Now, is it possible to do that? Well, sure. People go to like Disney World all the time. They walk all day long. And they look at the number of steps they got at the end of the day, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. And yeah, you walk more, probably more than 2 hours extra. And most people can do that for a day or two. But this research isn't based on doing it one time. This research is based on doing it day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. Staying consistent with an extra 2 hours of walking, that's the really hard part, and most of us can't do that. Because I believe, again, I'm not a licensed personal trainer nor a doctor, I believe that the real hard part of fitness, of exercise, isn't necessarily the physical activity. I'm not saying that's easy, but the hardest part is actually the mental and emotional aspect. Because here's what happens. Here's what could happen. Somebody hears this research, 110 minutes. They like the idea of adding 11 years, but even more so, 11 potentially healthy years, getting healthier, getting stronger. Sounds good. And they start with 2 more hours of walking a day, and they're able to sustain that for maybe a week or two. And they probably don't feel better after a couple of weeks, probably sore, probably tired. And you've lost the motivation, and you're like, what has changed? You know, I don't feel any different. I feel worse, in fact. And then you start thinking about what the payoff is. Well, I might, because there are no guarantees, I might get 11 more years. And it no longer feels worth it. And so that 2 hours a day slowly, maybe quickly drops down, and before you know it, you're no longer walking at all. And so the next time you see a headline like that, your thought is, oh yeah, I tried that, didn't work. And you just move on to the next headline. Here's what I recommend. Start small, think long. Don't start with an extra 2 hours of walking a day. Start with a 10-minute walk a day, maybe even a 1-minute walk a day. And you might be thinking, well, how is that going to make any difference? It's going to make a huge difference, because job one of any fitness activity is establishing the habit, building this into your daily routine. And it's far more effective to start small with a small commitment that requires small motivation. Big commitment requires big motivation. Start small with a 10-minute walk every day. You can listen to the podcast, Walking is Fitness. Every day there's a brand new 10-minute episode to provide you with a little added motivation to get out the door and to keep that commitment. By the way, I've got a free resource that lays out all the steps in building a fitness habit that lasts. And there's a link in the video description for that. Part of that resource is what I call the 90-day fitness chain tracker. Every day you keep your commitment and take that 10-minute walk. You can color in a set of footprints, and you're tracking this growing fitness chain that you're building. And that provides added motivation on those days when you don't feel like doing it. And you're going to have those days. You're going to have a lot of those days. But you look at that tracker and you go, oh wait, I've put a lot into building this chain. I am not going to break it today. And you get out, you take the walk, you color in another set of footprints. So the reward isn't this abstract thing way down the road. The reward is at the end of each day, you've done a hard thing and you've rewarded yourself knowing that I can do hard things because I'm doing a hard thing. Look at this fitness chain that's growing. Start small, think long. And even if you don't reach eventually 2 hours additional walking every day, it's not an all or nothing thing. You start walking more and doing that consistently, you're investing in your current and your future health. There's all kinds of research that indicates we're lowering the risk of an early death. We're lowering the risk of heart disease, cancer, certain types of cancers, type 2 diabetes, dementia, lowering the risk of an accidental death. Even with, you don't need that 2 hours every day. Just begin walking. Create that habit. Build walking into your daily routine. As your fitness capacity grows, your momentum gets more intense and you find the fun, you start enjoying these walks and you find yourself wanting to walk longer. So what do you say? Get the 90 days to a fitness habit that lasts, link in the video description. Check out the podcast, Walking is Fitness, brand new episode every day. We can take a 10-minute walk together and build a walking habit that could be a life changer for you. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you have a great day.